or the school district or the fire district, if we're having discussions with those entities, I think it's important that the members of the governing body be informed. If for no other reason than to be able to answer questions in some sort of a knowledgeable way when we're getting questions from people outside of chambers or when we're getting any public inquiries. It's not good to say, oh man, I didn't know that was happening, let me go check, because that does not speak towards transparency. So from that perspective, I think it's important that we at least be notified. We don't need to know the substance. We understand that confidentiality precludes that, but we at least need to know that something is, that something's happening.
No action was proposed. No action was taken. Every time that I see Bill Sutton or Molly Baumgartner or Julia Lynn, I generally talk to her about things that are of interest to Gardner, and I'm sure that you all do the same, but I don't imagine that we communicate every conversation we have. I mean, if I go to a KCADC meeting that everybody gets invited to, and happen to be sitting next to somebody that's in the land development business, and I am telling them that they ought to come to Gardner, I don't know that that's something that needs to be related every
Mayor,
time.
I'm specifically talking about the meeting that we had in that office, right back there, that was scheduled with the USD 231. Those are the kind of things that I'm saying we need to be notified of if it's about economic development.
Yeah, informal conversations
Right.
probably don't fall into that realm. I mean, we're talking about scheduled meetings.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
That's.
Do you have a problem with letting the council know that? I mean, that's what you're basically saying.
Actually, I don't have a problem letting the council know.
That's great. That's what I'm looking for.
Actually, but that's.
But, that's what you're saying.
Sir, I'm not gonna, if you're taking a moment to gather your words, or if you say but, I'm not gonna do that to you. And I'm gonna ask you not to do it.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done speaking.
I'm gonna ask you not to do it to me. It's disrespectful. Forget about me. It's disrespectful of the chair. Understood?
Are you done? Just because the long pause is what gets me every time.
Well,
You have to forgive me for that.
actually, not much I can do about the long pause. Sometimes I take a moment to gather my thoughts.
Can I get you a sign?
Now you're just being childish and rude, actually. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't conduct yourself on the dais like that in the future.
I think we can move on.
Sincerely. I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Actually,
Yeah, how much time do we need?
15 minutes.
15 minutes, and we're starting at 10:03.
It needs,
The motion needs to state the purpose. You can just read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
on
will,
there.
I will read it, We need
Steve's got
15
it.
minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so, I move that we recess into executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property pursuant to KSA 754319, subsection B6, specifically preliminary discussions related to the acquisition of real property beginning at 10:04 p.m., returning to regular session at 10:19 p.m.
Motion shoot second Harrison that we adjourn into executive session, returning at 10:19 p.m. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? We're going into executive session. entertain a motion to return to a regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Schutz, second Harrison, that we resume regular session. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? We're back in session. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Schutz, second Harrison, that we adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, any abstentions? We are adjourned. Yeah.
I know.
Wasn't bad. Yeah.